And again, this is a global conversation that is happening right now. I mean, right now they are doing work in about 66 countries. And a report will be prepared, but in the process of preparing that report, we also want to capture really what are your last thoughts in terms of messages that should be sent to the Initiative for Equality, in terms of the conversation that we've been having about equity and sustainability. So we want to give as many people an opportunity to share your thoughts. I know some have been vocal, some have not been, but we want to make sure that we give as many people an opportunity to share their thoughts. I'm not going to start from this side of the room because Antoine has offered a number of remarks.
No,
I'll start on this.
Let's do this.
So what exactly do you want to say?
No, just in terms of what you've been thinking, what you've been hearing, if there are certain issues that you feel are important as it relates to the field hearing on equity and sustainability, just summarizing really, just something that you feel is important to be shared.
I believe it was Kim who shared that it's important to take into consideration that not only are we designers, but we also have to get involved with the community and approach the projects through the community and fight with their needs. And that's certainly a concern that I face as a freshman at UC Berkeley. And it's just realizing that our community isn't part of the design at many times.
Okay.
I want to say that someone mentioned back there that it's important for like architects or anyone to learn more a bit about like social issues in academia, and I think that's important because I noticed the lack of classes I have to take on these issues in my studies.
I think as architects, we have to do service, and service in any which way to reach out to our communities, to be active in our communities. So if we take that license exam, we become licensed. One of the things is that we have to bring it back to the communities and serve our communities to keep them sustainable and also to make them survive.
Okay.
I just think that we just need to keep having these conversations. I think I think this was fantastic to have this open conversation, because I think what's important is everyone says something, whatever it is. Everyone should have a say in something like this. If it's global, everybody needs to have a voice, and then we synthesize from that, and that's exactly what we do. So we should take care of that, and that's why we should involve the communities in the things that we do, because then we can synthesize that for them to produce something that's unique for that area.
Okay.
Architects must be involved in social engagement. Right now we are not. It's not taught in our schools. The young ladies just attested to it. Most of us didn't have much social discussions when we were in school. Some of us did to a greater extent, but it's something that you don't see in the profession. And so we're really going to be able to respond to the communities that need our kind of assistance. We must be involved, and we must stay involved, and not be there just for the life of a project.
A lot of people don't know this, but the official professional charge of architects is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And I think that we need to think more creatively about what that means, because I think we could definitely do that in a much broader, more impactful way.
So we've opened up the discussion here today. Everyone has provided input. They've had questions, and regarding that, what are we going to do next? We all have our input on what needs to be done. So what's next? How are we going to do it? Are we going to encourage our instructors and our employers to, make a bigger voice about this issue? Are we going to go out and challenge ourselves to be more involved and be that voice?
Yeah.
What's next?
What's next is, start here. I was on a tour at the conference last year, and I visited a small community that was actually done very sustainable and environmentally friendly, yada yada, very expensive community. And then I also got to see a documentary about these master's program architecture students who were working with the community. And it was one of their projects that they were doing as a grad student, where they were taking the old houses and recycling wood and materials and rebuilding for those people. It's the people who've been living there for about 50, 60 years and the house was in no condition to be in, going back to making sure that their health and everything is, that they have safety. And I think that's where we need to start. It's not just that we're thinking about it now, but we are at a point where we can make an initiative and say, okay, this is where we start with our students and give them an opportunity to learn from the beginning, to have that seed in their mind, to start working on this.
I think in order for, looking at it from an architectural point of view, to talk about sustainable development, I think architecture itself needs to be sort of taken out of the context of not just being a project, but applying kind of a human-centered process, as IDEO.org actually does it in the product design, and into architecture itself. And applying that design thinking that we're not necessarily dealing just with a project, just with infrastructure, and that there's a human condition to it, and people will use it, and actually understanding how actually people use it and instill that within the design, I think is absolutely necessary in achieving that.
Okay. No, and again, the comments you're saying are very important. I appreciate the application to architecture. Again, I just want to ask people to also think about, if there is a message that you would offer for the Initiative for Equality, what that would be. I think a lot of what's been shared has been great because, again, we're going to synthesize this, and one of the recipients will be the UN. UN has UN Habitat. They have the UN Built Environment Program. So again, many of the comments that you're saying are very much applicable to the direction of where this conversation is going to go. I also want to